Hey, this is Bismi again from Dominus Nisi on the series Mothers in May. Today, I got an author, an international speaker, and a coach. And more than that, a great community person who linking towards many different parts of the country, Australia. So let me welcome Ayesha to our show. Ayesha, welcome to our show.
Thank you so much for having me, Bismi. It's such a pleasure being able to in your platform.
Yeah, I was so excited to see that Aisha, you were one of the judges for the hundreds speakers virtual summit last weekend, and was sharing all different stories, and then going through those 3 days, and then the way that you were going through that is mind blowing. And then I was, thinking that your book is also mind related. So it's something that you are doing in your mind to inspire many other people. So can you share about you, who you are, how you spreading that great, inspiring, ideas to other people?
Thank you so much, Bismi, for asking the question. So if you ask me like who am I will say um, I'm a teacher, first of all. So because this is the first step I started with my career, being a teacher in the university, and I'm still teaching in one of the university in US. I teach neuroscience of leadership and emotional intelligence for the MBA student.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, I also do the coaching for the leadership development in Australia with the organization. And my fascination to understand the leadership and what can I learn from it and how do I apply into my life, that turned into my book because that is the reflection of my learning being a woman, and especially when the time when I started writing the book is the very beginning stage, me being in Australia, so leaving my country. This is the first country I left, I'm living, and this is the first time I came out of my country without, it's like
Mm-hmm.
not for study. I didn't go anywhere except here. And that was the time like cultural food, clothes, the season, the hot, cold, the language, the people around me. This is totally different place, and that's the time I started writing, and that is what I reflect on my book, based on my way of leading myself, so
Mm-hmm.
that I can stay at my best, including my behavior, my psychological state, and my emotional state. Uh, that was the reason why I say it's a mind speed. Like, how do I keep your mind to speeding forward, not backward, or not stay in the same place for a long time? That
That's
is really
that's
the
great way. It's like you are actually pushing and pulling your mind, so you need to do something to do that. So can you share a little bit about about you, how you became that the teacher? Is that your core interest, or how was that happen? Like,
I think like often people ask like when we are children, especially back in our society, often people ask like what do you want to become when you grow up? So I think I used to tell everybody that I want to be a teacher. I also remember one of my teacher in my university, he asked, what do you want to do after finishing your bachelor in business administration? I said, I want to be a teacher. And he replied, do you want to teach the kids? You love kids? I said, no, I want to teach in the university. I'm like, I'm more into observing people's behavior and how do I help them to going through the learning process and becoming a different version, a better version of them.
mm,
And with that intention, I finished my bachelor. As soon as I finished, I started my MBA because I cannot apply for a teaching role without having an MBA.
mm,
And in the meantime, I become pregnant. So
mm-hmm,
I remember like I had one semester, two subject left, and I became pregnant. But that time my priority was having the kid, and I took 1 year full break and then 6 month more break, and then I moved close to my university. And the breastfeeding time, I went to the class and I came back, and I used to remember that my son was that time fully depending on me in breastfeeding time. Was so. But at the same time, I was very, very sure that I want to be a teacher. And one of the big reason, I would say, because other job, especially in our country, we have to work from 9 to 5. There is no option. There is no option that you cannot work less than 5 days. We cannot work less than 9 to 5, and even not up to 5, even more. And I thought that teaching will be the only profession where I can give more time to my children. That was the big reason why I preferred teaching from the beginning of my career, the flexibility.
Wow, that's more of like, your dedication to motherhood. That's a great way of, sharing how you connected your profession to your motherhood. Because when the priority came, you just stopped your dream, but you gave the priority to motherhood and then, nurtured your baby. That's an awesome way, Aisha. So I just want to check with you, like, how do you describe your motherhood? I clearly see that you have the, high importance in your life for motherhood, but do you have the special way of describing your motherhood?
Um, I would say I prefer using the word quality
Mm-hmm.
rather quantity. So I would say I always seek for the quality time, the mental quality environment
Mm-hmm.
that will help my children to nurture themselves or to be
Yeah.
able to think or see good things. And
Mm-hmm.
I remember it, I don't know where it came to me, but I remember when I was pregnant, I used to did not listen to the louder volume, the music and the rock music. I didn't watch the movie, which is aggressive and violent action movies.
Mm-hmm.
Was consciously picking the thing that I want to nurture into my children's behavior. And
Mm-hmm.
even after joining a job, like people may often say, I hear that, like, you do so much of, like, if you do so much, then how do you manage time? You actually don't give the time to your kid. I was literally blamed by this, but to me, I would say if I spend 1 hour a day, I
Mm-hmm.
spend the quality time with
Yeah.
him, my son. And that's why I'm like, I don't have to stay 9 to 5 or not a whole day with him.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm spending 6 to 8 or 6 to 10 on dinner time, I spend the best time. There's nothing could interrupt me during the time I'm spending with him. So I
Mm-hmm.
would prefer saying that's a quality.
That's
That's how I would describe.
okay. Yeah, it's like rather than that quantity of being the whole full mom the whole day, you just segmented that with a high quality time with him. Yeah, I think that's what as a working mom or as a entrepreneur, you can really put that, be present and then be fully for him. Yeah, that's a great way of keeping our kids um, within you, so they can feel your love and dedication to them as well. So that's a great one. I would like, I know that you mentioned that you clearly stopped your passion for your motherhood, but I would love to check with you. Do you have any special moments that you still keep in your mind, in your heart, closer about your motherhood? I know that it's an ongoing one, but still in your early stages, is there any special moments you can think of?
Okay, I will pick three from the
Mm-hmm.
very beginning and then middle and then
Mm-hmm.
from very recent one.
Ongoing. Yeah.
Okay, so the first one I would say when my son was due on somewhere end of January, but I he was born on 31st of December. So I'm
You
like,
say.
okay, so this is a blessing, and I would say it's a kind of like celebration every year. I feel it's an extra joy for me. Secondly, I will remember that when because I'm working whole day and I'm not with him whole day,
Mhm.
and because he is with the carer at home. So I used to organize different theme party for him,
Uh-huh.
and used to hide everything from him so he doesn't have any clue, and inviting all of his friends and looking at his face and the surprise and the shy and the smile, the mix of shying and smiling, that is one of the best feeling when he was young kid.
Mm.
Now he is growing up, he is teenage and becoming young man. So now I will say when he is taking care of me, like when I take extra sweet or the extra candy or extra chocolate, and he's like, you are you counting calories? Those are the sweet thing I would love to hear from him, and I think I intentionally do something like that to annoy him, and I like the way he respond to me and stop me doing all this thing which is bad for me. When
Mm.
I'm crossing the road, holding my hand, so all this small thing. I think this is the beautiful
Yeah, so
moments.
he's becoming an accountability partner for you now, right? Yeah, that's a great
Yeah,
way.
very, very well said.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a pure, I would say, the raw young adult who raised by, great mothers, because they do know how the journey was, and then now it's their mindset is to protect their mother. So that's a great mother, a mother like in a mindset. Like when you cross the road, if they're holding your hand, oh, that's an awesome, awesome feeling. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Oh, that's great. So I was like, thinking the other day I was hearing your story, how you moved from your home country to here by yourself, leaving your child back in your hometown. And then incidentally, you had to stay back here longer and then do different things. So I could relate how hard it was for you being alone here in a new country. You haven't done any other overseas travel, or you were so close to your family and then hometown. So can you describe those days that you initially came over here and then started to? I know that you came only for like a small period of time, but you had to stay back and then enjoy Australia. Yeah. Do you want to share that with us?
Yeah, of course. And I think that was the biggest time I transformed myself, and that
Mm,
was the time, hardest time, and also the time I could positively transform myself. Um, I came here with a peer.
mm,
Uh, we had a peer, but I didn't come here because I was doing a good job. I was assistant professor back in my country, and
mm,
respectful job I was doing. So I had a paper presentation in one of the university in Sydney. Then I came here. I met a lady. She's a trainer, and she said, "Why don't you start working with me?"
mm,
I'm like, yes. Then I talked to my husband, ex-husband now. So he encouraged me and he said, okay, change your ticket and stay a week. If you like, you can stay. That will be good for us to move in. Um,
mm,
and if you start, then I can come and join. And then I decided, okay, let's try a week. And because I left my son back in my
mm.
country, I came here for 3 days and then I extended one more week.
Yeah.
And I thought like it's a good environment. And she had two children, one at the age of my son and another one is younger. And she encouraged me, why don't you bring your son and take admission in the school here, because you are already a PR
Mm,
and you work with me. I will be supporting you. I don't know how she was arrived in my life. And I think that was a signal from the universe telling me like you have
yeah.
to step up.
Yeah.
And I took it and I stayed a month without him
Mm,
before I bring him here, and he used to pretend like smiling on the phone call, but I know he's missing me. But during that time, I took a bold move because I knew that I have to again, like I have to create an environment for him where he will be able to be more nurtured in a positive way. And there is
mm,
some reason behind me saying this. And then he came and we started. After 6, 7 months, his dad came, and that story goes on.
Yeah.
I would say that time I could start for the lady with whom I started working, and there was somebody who I met who have been mentored very closely. I'm very
Mm-hmm.
grateful for her help, and especially for mental support. And the second stage, I will say, when I went back to my country, and my son knew that he will be flying back with me in Australia. He was very excited. And when he came here, he was enjoying having time with these kids, then enjoying the school. And because the system of the schooling is more fun here, there's no book, you don't have to do the homework, you don't have
Yeah.
to do it. They enjoy a lot comparing to my country.
Mm-hmm.
So he started loving, enjoying being in here, studying and going to school and meeting the friends every day.
Mm-hmm.
And that kept me moving. No, he is liking it. That means I will sustain here by working and ensuring that we can sustain here.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the mental, clarity. Like, do I do these or not? Do I check, or it's a 50-50? If I say, do I stay to check whether I can stay here? This is a 50-50 mental state, like may not be or maybe,
Mm-hmm.
which is not strong enough. But when you decide, yes, I will stay here because I know he will enjoy and I know I'm also enjoying, and then you are fully focused on dedicating to sustaining here, living here respectfully, working on something that will help you to stay with your decision. So that was
Mm-hmm.
my beginning. And definitely there are some reason why I'm saying it, because again, the word I will bring again, the quality.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a quality environment for me back in my country or my son. Um, Social control, dominance,
Mm-hmm.
mix of everything. I will explain more in our further conversation.
Yeah, sure. So I know that, you were working hard to get that quality life for your son and yourself. So that's where the other topic I would say, because this month is we also putting up our effort to give the awareness for family violence. The only reason is to give the quality life to the people in the family, to give that human rights of being peaceful, being a respectful person, and then live their life. That's a basic human right. So when we celebrate this month for awareness of family violence, that's what your topic of having a quality life, um, having a real important factor. So, what do you think about that? How do you connect that quality to that family violence awareness?
I connect 100% with me,
Mm,
100%, because because I was suffering very
mm,
badly with the quality of my life.
mm,
That's why it was my fight to achieve the quality of my life and achieve the life for my son.
mm,
If you want me to name it, I would say I was physically abused,
mm,
verbally abused, emotionally abused. I was also financially abused when I moved in Australia.
mm,
And physically back in my country, not here, but verbally,
mm,
socially abused, because telling a lot of negative thing about me back to my country and about my people, my parents and my family, which at some point they started not believing me.
mm.
No, I am also losing their emotional support.
Yeah.
So I was left alone so much in every different possible way. I was told, like, I have to be going back to home, being a divorced woman, and I have nothing left in my hand. So it's
Mm,
a curse. It's a kind of like, it's a
mm,
curse imposed to me to live a life being a divorced mom.
mm,
And now I say it in public, like, I'm a divorced mom, I'm a single mom, I'm a solo, I'm a flying solo, because I know how to do this. And
mm.
it took a lot of work. The reason why I am here saying thing in front of you with a smile on my face, with some makeup on, it's a lot of work year after year, 7, 8 years. I have been working on myself just to stay with the quality of myself. I invested lots of money, 100% in a good reason, for personal development, for learning, for growing, and for understanding, to grow myself, learn new thing. I'm still doing it, and everything together was focusing on me. It's not selfish, for especially for all the mom. It's not selfish, because only when we are in a best space, then we can provide it to our children.
Yeah.
So that's my belief, and that's the reason why I would say we must step forward to stop this violence. And violence from a family is not accepted. Then it's not a family. It's somebody stranger living in the same place. Family cannot be a place where you feel unsafe. A family has to be a place where you feel 100% safe, mentally, emotionally, financially, every possible way. Family is not an unsafe place. That's not a family. That's just a legal situation where you have to accept to live together, but doesn't mean that it's a family. It's
Yeah.
not the definition of family.
I think, when you hear, when you say this, the people who hearing of it must be like, they will be nodding their head, because even though they are in their family, they clearly know that this injustice is happening in the family. But 99 percentage of people thinks, I can't change it. It's my fate. What to do? I just go with the flow. So they don't take that courageous step, to go to speak up. I would say that rather than going out to speak up and then get the respect and the right in the family. Because if we can't really do anything in that initial stages, there is no other way other than just stop it with the drastic decisions. But if we are coming into a terms in the beginning and then stand up for that respect, I think it will be better. But the thing is, like, we were in a community where everyone was pointing at you. You have to suffer. You have to accept. You have to be submissive. You have to show the status with these and that. So I know that you are also from same background. All the Asian countries are that. But I'm so happy for your growth, because where you were with your son with nothing in you other than your qualification, then you started again on your dream, and then now you are helping many people, especially from your country. So can you share about your current community service that you're doing, like encouraging people, you trying to help people to publish their stories, and then you're coaching many people, and at the same time you're doing your full-time university teaching. So can you share with your current way of you giving back to community? The community once was like really blocking you out, and I would say cursing you, like you did this disgrace to our community, but now you're coming back and doing these good things to them, spreading love, joy, and peace. So can you share your good work to your community?
Yeah, I love the way you said, like, though the community do not recognize the sacrifice we have, but still being able to dedicate it to give back to the community, is it comes with a huge, the place where we want to give, and it's a give a service mindset, I would say. And because I know the way I have suffered, and the reason why I could identify that, because I invested on learning and self-discovering and self-learning and self-development. I feel that there is so much of is a gap. Like they don't know what they don't know. And I don't blame them, but also I feel a little bit of responsibility to have back to them so that I can bring little bit of awareness to them.
Mm.
Yes, there is a mix of people. There are lots of, people, they are more than modern minded, and but at the same time, the awareness doesn't come with the amount of money you have or the social status you have. It comes from within, and it
Mm.
comes understanding you so that you can understand other people around you.
Yeah.
I think being in touch with the community helps me to grow at the same time, and to
Mm.
see the contrast, like what do they lack of, the
Yeah.
awareness level, the gap, or the understanding of them being able to giving back to the society as well, not only taking and fighting for their own status and fighting for the power and the new role and the promotion, etc. Rather empowering them to
Mm.
lead other people around them, to nurture other people around them. Um, so that is the reason why. And one way I involve is through the speaking association.
Mhm.
So I have a small group of people with whom we meet every month to help them to develop their speeches and to be able to speak, or etc.
Mhm.
Another group we have only the ladies.
Mhm.
So we talk about our everyday challenges, and we also make some fun and spend some good quality time. And it's a mix of being able to say that yes, we have a back for each other, and we
Mm.
also have a place to learn from each other.
Yeah.
So these are the core thing. Like as a woman, how do I help others? And
Mm.
as a professional, what can I do to help other people to know that where do they need to develop themselves? Because,
Mm.
because sitting there, I was also in that place. I didn't know that this is where I need to develop. When I moved into different country in a different environment, then I observe what other people are doing. Then I could recognize, yes, I also need to develop those areas. And I slowly worked on myself. But
Mm.
if somebody doesn't tell you, it's very difficult to recognize what do I don't know, and I
Mhm.
don't know what do I don't know.
Yeah. That's a great way, because we can't really change the whole world, but whatever we know, we will share to them, and then it's their responsibility to understand. Okay, yeah, I learned something, and then I can see the changes. So I should modify whatever my belief is. So I think that's what you are doing with your community engagement. And I think at the same time, you are showcasing that quality, you are showcasing that difference in your life. And then you are engaging in speaking and environment, not just in here, all in an international platform. And then you're connecting your own country people as well to promote them and then motivate them, so they can clearly see that your dedication and commitment to that one. That's a great way to support each other. I would love to check with you for our listeners. What's your message to spread love, joy, and peace, Ayesha?
Um, Start from yourself. Like it's not do not feel regret for giving time to yourself.
Mm.
Do not feel that I could not give more time to my children or more time to anybody else. Give more time to yourself.
Yeah.
Start with small
Mhm.
and observe yourself, the way you behave, the way you respond or react, that you observe your emotion, observe how do you feel on that situation, and then think a little bit like, why do I feel like this?
Mm.
Is there is anything from this conversation that was triggering my some of the emotion that I suppressed for a long time? I didn't speak up. I was stopping myself to, and I was tolerating this.
Mm.
So looking at you will be the first place to start working on your peace, love, and joy, because it's always inward. Your
Mm.
love, your joy, your peace is inward. And when you have it, then you can create a ripple around you. It's a multiplying effect around you. But I would again say, if you are in a family, if you're in a relationship, it's inside of you. The work is always inside of you. And as a woman, I have been telling my story in a very short period of time, but it had been like 9 years now through which I had to walk through alone with all the struggle and fighting for my peace, my quality of my lifestyle that I slowly developed in my mind. No way possible. Then I little by little I work on building that. So the reason why I'm saying it, because if you know the way you want to get peace in your life, then you also can do the back calculation so that you can start working on it. You start developing it from now, from where you are. Take help whenever you need. Like listening to the podcast is very empowering. I listen to lots of podcasts that help me to stay in my mental state, to be able to aware of my sufferings so that I can work on it. And reading books are also important. Having a mentor or a coach supports a lot. So because we already biased, like we do not see what we lack of because we are biased by our behavior. If there is someone who can pick me up and say, this is where you need to work on, I shall be happy to receive this sort of feedback because I don't see it. And don't take it as a criticism. People are criticizing around us and people will be knocking you down. People will be telling a lot of negative things, but try to learn there is a message inside of it. If they say, well, you're not giving enough time to your son, but that means that you're working on something else where you're giving your time, but that you're giving your quality time with your to your children. So you don't have to take all the criticism personally. Take it as something that you can work on to look the inside message, but don't take it and absorb it. Okay, so
that's a great
just
message.
prioritize yourself first.
Yeah. So going inside the core connection is the main thing that I love that because it's actually aligning with my core belief as well. Because rather than going out, come inside first. That's great. So Aisha, thank you for your time and then sharing all your wonderful stories. So if I want to connect with you and then get help from you, how can I connect? How can I reach out to you?
So I am basically on Facebook and LinkedIn. So anytime you want to reach out to me, leave me a message on LinkedIn or Facebook. I will be very happy to connect one-on-one. And I also have a website. I don't want you to go a loop. Anybody listening to the podcast, I know you all are very close to my heart, and Bismi is taking a big initiative to raising the awareness around us. And we want to work as a community. Feel free to reach out. Leave me a message and refer to the podcast. I will be more than happy to support you, help you.
Okay, that's great, Aisha. Thank you so much. I'll be putting your LinkedIn connection under this video in the description so that people from your community, they are also here. They have a great community here, and I'll be sharing with them as well. And they will get, really impressed with your story. I'm sure about it. And I want them to get motivated as well. So thank you so much, Aisha. I know that you had a good Mother's Day, but Mother's Day is not a day, it's a lifetime commitment. So I wish you all the very best to become the best mother and give that quality time to your, your son. And thank you so much again for joining with us. Thank you, Aisha.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having this discussion.
Thank you. So my listeners, this is Aisha from Sydney. So I will be putting her contacts for our Melbourne people who wants to get connected and getting inspired with her journey. And then she will be having one-on-one coaching and, helping you with all your mindset and come and speak to you in your community in your own language. So wait and see for the links and please get connected. Thank you so much. This is Dominus Nissy's Mothers in May series.